You know, if you've spent literally any time online lately, you've probably been bombarded with these wild claims and those 12-week transformation photos that just seem almost too good to be true. And honestly, that's because quite often they are. So today we're focusing purely on the science, the data, and the actual biological reality of natural muscle growth. Together, we're going to uncover exactly what your body is capable of, how to fuel it optimally without just getting fat, and the realistic timelines you need to expect. I'm honestly incredibly enthusiastic about this, because once you actually understand this biological blueprint, you stop chasing those frustrating shortcuts, and you start building a genuinely exceptional physique.
Can you gain 20 pounds of muscle quickly? Now, this is the ultimate provocative hook used by basically every fitness marketer on the planet. It's a super alluring promise, right? But what does quickly actually mean in biological terms? We're going to address this exact question by comparing those crazy promises made online against the cold, hard biological reality of what natural human physiology can actually pull off.
To uncover the truth, we're embarking on a really structured deep dive today. Here's our agenda. 1. The newbie gains phenomenon. 2. Muscle versus fat density. 3. The natural growth timeline. 4. The lean bulk strategy. And 5. The consistency blueprint. Let's not waste any time.
Chapter 1. The newbie gains phenomenon. The biological reality of your first year.
Consider this your absolute masterclass on what exactly happens inside your body the moment a beginner starts lifting weights consistently. The definition is this: newbie gains, a 6 to 12-month window of accelerated muscle and strength growth experienced by brand new lifters. So why does this happen? Well, when you're an untrained individual, your body is essentially a blank canvas. Your nervous system and your muscle fibers are physiologically primed for rapid development simply because they've never been exposed to this type of mechanical tension before. This isn't just some gym bro science. This is a highly documented biological adaptation phase. 150 to 200%. Now, the most staggering part of this whole phase is this number right here, 150 to 200%. This represents the massive spike in muscle protein synthesis, or MPS, after resistance training for a beginner. You see, when an advanced lifter works out, their MPS might spike for a few hours. But as a beginner, your muscle protein synthesis skyrockets by 150 to 200%, and it actually remains elevated for up to 48 to 72 hours. Your body is literally working overtime, fusing satellite cells to muscle fibers and adding nuclei to handle all this new stress. So, what does that biological spike actually translate to on the scale? Let's break it down. Average year 1 muscle gain: men, 15 to 25 pounds, which is about 1 to 2 pounds per month. Women, 8 to 12 pounds, which is roughly 0.7 to 1 pound per month. I really want to ground you in this realistic scale expectation. If you're a beginner, hitting these numbers definitely requires optimal training and nutrition, but it is, without a doubt, the fastest rate of growth you are ever going to experience in your life. And it's important to note that while the absolute numbers are different between men and women, mostly due to starting muscle mass and testosterone levels, the relative percentage of muscle gained is actually almost identical.
Chapter 2. Muscle versus fat density. Why the scale can deceive you.
Chasing scale weight alone is a deeply flawed strategy, so let's compare the exact data. Left, muscle tissue, density 1.1 grams per cm cubed, metabolic activity burns 7 to 10 calories per pound per day. Right, fat tissue, density 0.9 grams per cm cubed, metabolic activity burns 2 to 3 calories per pound per day. This brilliantly illustrates a really crucial point. Sure, a pound is a pound, but muscle is about 18% denser than fat. To put that into perspective, 5 pounds of muscle is roughly the size of a small book. 5 pounds of fat, that's the size of a small football. This means you could lose 5 pounds of fat, gain 5 pounds of muscle, and the scale wouldn't move a single ounce. Yet, you'd look radically leaner and way more toned in the mirror. Furthermore, muscle burns up to 3 times more calories just existing on your frame compared to fat. So please, do not let the scale trick you into thinking you aren't making progress.
Chapter 3. The natural growth timeline. The Lyle McDonald model.
Let's look at average muscle gain by training year to establish a truly long-term, science-backed timeline. Bar 1, year 1, 20-25 pounds. Bar 2, year 2, 10 to 12 pounds. Bar 3, year 3, 5 to 6 pounds. Just think about that stark reality of diminishing returns for a second. After that massive year 1 peak we just talked about, your growth literally gets cut in half the second year. By year 3, you're fighting tooth and nail just for 5 to 6 pounds a year. By year 4, you might only gain 2 to 3 pounds over a whole 12 months. This is exactly why those 12-week transformation promises online are incredibly misleading for anyone past their first few months in the gym. To perfectly summarize this biological phenomenon, every year you can gain about half of your remaining potential. This is such a deep biological concept. Think of your genetic muscular potential as having a half-life. If your total lifetime natural potential is to gain, let's say, 40 pounds of muscle, you're going to gain about half of that, 20 pounds in year 1. In year 2, you gain half of what's left, so 10 pounds. Year 3, half of that, 5 pounds. As your lifting experience increases, your body basically becomes increasingly resistant to further hypertrophy, simply because you're approaching your genetic ceiling.
Chapter 4. The Lean Bulk Strategy. Why more food doesn't mean more muscle.
So how do we actually fuel this growth without just getting fat? Let's dive into the data analyzed by natural bodybuilding expert Dr. Eric Helms. Group: LBM gain, fat mass gain. Fast gain with a huge surplus, 2.4 kg LBM, 1.8 kg fat mass. Slow gain with a small surplus, 1.2 kg LBM, 0.3 kg fat mass. The absolute crucial point here is that a massive surplus causes a disproportionate and super detrimental spike in fat gain. Sure, the huge surplus group gained a bit more lean mass, but think about the fat. They gained 6 times the amount of fat. As Dr. Helms points out, what benefit is that extra muscle if you have to spend twice as long dieting just to get the fat off? All you do is hide your hard-earned muscle under a layer of fat, and you risk losing that very muscle when you inevitably have to endure a long, grueling cut.
To avoid that dreaded fat gain trap, let's go through Dr. Helms' daily caloric surplus targets for a true lean bulk. 200 plus pounds body weight plus 300 calories. 170 to 200 pounds body weight plus 200 calories. 150 pounds body weight plus 150 calories. Lighter men/women plus 100 calories. This brilliantly illustrates that muscle building is all about precision, not gluttony. A tiny surplus of just 100 to 300 calories a day is all your body needs to optimize muscle protein synthesis. Any more than that, and it simply spills over into your fat cells. It's really that simple.
Chapter 5. The Consistency Blueprint. A 12-week action plan.
All right, we're moving from physiological theory to a highly actionable strategy. Here's your concrete path. Step 1. Foundation, weeks 1 to 4. Master the big 5 lifts and hit protein targets. Step 2. Progression, weeks 5 to 8. Add 5% weight or 1 rep weekly. Step 3. Consolidation, weeks 9 to 12. Shift to an upper-lower split. This provides a crystal-clear runway to capture your newbie gains. You basically spend the first month just learning the movement patterns of compound lifts, like squats and deadlifts, and dialing in your protein at about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. The second month, that's all about progressive overload. You're forcing the muscle to adapt by increasing the demand. And the third month is about managing your fatigue by splitting up your volume.
And that brings us to this really powerful reality check. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's what transforms the average lifter into someone exceptional. We need to completely reframe fitness right now. It is not about a 12-week shortcut. The 12-week plan we just broke down isn't going to magically get you to your genetic potential. It's simply the runway to build a lifelong pursuit of mastering discipline. The mundane, day-to-day repetition of effort, showing up, hitting your tiny caloric surplus, adding just 1 more rep, week in and week out, for years, is the true secret.
Which leads us to our final, provocative question. Are you ready to play the long game? Look, natural muscle growth is a marathon. It takes 2 to 3 years to build a truly impressive physique, and maybe 5 to 10 years to reach your natural genetic ceiling. But hey, now you have the blueprint. You know to expect massive gains early on. You know to expect a biological drop-off as the years pass, and you know exactly how to use a slight caloric surplus to stay lean the entire time. The path is right in front of you. The only question is, are you disciplined enough to walk it?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, which give us motivation to make better content for you. See you in the next video.